There's a shot when she's in the locker room and she opens her eye and it like turns into what looks like a snake eye, but when you zoom in, it's actually the Kobe logo in her eye. And as you know, Kobe's nickname was the Black Mamba. I just felt like across the board, this commercial was a 10 for 10. And a lot of people have been getting on Nike because they don't feel like they have been promoting Caitlyn as much as they should.
Nike thought it had everything under control. Servers hardened, hype calibrated, pairs quietly loaded onto the SNKRS app, yet at 10 a.m., sharp, the screen went gray. The little spinning wheel froze, and 13,000 pairs of Caitlin Clark, branded Kobe 5s, vaporized before most people even tapped buy now.
They sold out in less than a minute. If that's any indication of what a Caitlin Clark signature shoe will do, I think Nike better continue to get on it and get ready to launch this brand for Caitlyn.
In 60 seconds flat, the $190 shoe was extinct, and in its place bloomed a resale frenzy that looked more like an IPO than a product drop. StockX lit up with 600 asks, GOAT posted 575 buy nows, and checkout screenshots became digital tombstones shared like war badges on sneaker Twitter. This meltdown was less about code and more about the gravitational pull of a rookie who treats half-court logos like polite suggestions.
This is from a New York Times story about A'ja Wilson and a signature shoe that came out last week. They're pretending as if she's LeBron James or Michael Jordan at WNBA, and that the reason why it's taken so long for her to get a signature shoe and her shoe won't sell is because of racism.
For 2 straight years, Nike marshaled every storytelling trick to elevate A'ja Wilson. Custom emblems, family tree colorways, even a cinematic ad directed by Malia Obama. On paper, the plan was airtight. 2-time MVP, Olympic gold, championship rings, charisma for days. But while brand managers choreographed Wilson's hero's journey, Clark was torching NCAA record books and detonating TV ratings every time she crossed mid-court. The marketplace noticed, Nike, not so much. Draft night forced a decision. 8 years, $28 million, but no signature shoe. Just repurposed Kobe 5s with a discreet CC on the heel.
Here's A'ja Wilson, a 6'4" female basketball player who's completely unrelatable to most young girls and most men. She's 6'4", and I'm not ripping her for being 6'4". That's not her fault. But most women are what, 5'4"?
Even those hand-me-downs outsold Wilson's bespoke sneakers before they reached stores, like a garage band outselling a stadium act because its live stream crashed Twitch. Nike's first solo Clark commercial didn't air until yesterday. 30 seconds, locker room lights flickering, Clark's eye morphing into a snake pupil Kobe logo. No narration, just swagger and promise.
But the player exclusive, they're starting to give it the push. This is the rollout. We got a clothing line coming before the holidays. Let's see how many resources Nike puts behind Caitlin Clark.
The proof arrived this morning when checkout pages became graveyards. Bots cheered, humans cursed, and social metrics told the tale. Google searches for Clark beat Wilson 8-1. Waneng Clarkobe trended worldwide, dwarfing Wilson's hashtag by 12-1. That's roughly $2.5 million in retail sales before shipping labels printed, followed by reseller markups north of 200% within 2 hours. Meanwhile, Wilson's latest colorway sat politely available in full-size runs. Its eloquent backstory no match for a rookie's raw magnetism.
Clark last year signed an 8-year shoe deal with Nike, reportedly worth $28 million. The brand signed her in 2022. The shoes went up for sale on Monday morning at $190 a pop. Now most are going for well over $350, with one pair even costing $642.
Wilson noticed she has campaigned, sometimes fairly, sometimes feverishly, for equal respect, hinting at double standards and media bias. Fans didn't know she held a Hush Nike extension all along, a fact that leaked the same week Clark's PE landed. To Wilson's corner, the timing felt like betrayal. To Nike's shareholders, it looked like a long overdue pivot toward the biggest draw in women's sports since early era Jordan. Social media erupted into choose-your-fighter trenches, and brand managers suddenly found themselves refereeing a culture war proxy they never asked to host. Former Nike execs were reportedly livid. One marketing lead blasted the company for sleeping on the future while the share price slept too. Internal memos now track server stress as a KPI. Translation: don't crash when Clark's true signature drops. That model is fast-tracked for holiday 2025. New silhouette, bespoke logo, women's specific last, a 150,000 pair run, plentiful yet scarce enough to keep eBay sharks circling. International releases will follow. Europe and Asia adore Kobe retros, and Clark's tie-in gives them modern relevance. Wilson's path forward is murkier. Her line will resonate with die-hard Aces fans and collectors for whom representation is non-negotiable. But the mainstream swell has already chosen its tide. Her smartest play is to lean into the traits that made her MVP: suffocating defense, steady leadership, charisma that doesn't need hashtags. Authenticity beats algorithms. If the aura feels coached, buyers bail. For Nike, the stakes stretch beyond footwear. Women's basketball is exploding. WNBA ratings have doubled year over year, resale ticket prices rival NBA playoffs, and streaming platforms are angling for mid-season rights. The swoosh isn't just moving leather and fly knit, it's trading in cultural real estate, and Clark is currently the most valuable address on the block. Today's drop also exposed a tension Nike allowed to fester, letting Clark be pilloried for privilege, while Wilson's own deal stayed hidden. A single press release, both athletes have signature models coming. Patience could have diffused months of venom. Instead, the vacuum filled with hot-take napalm, and Nike got painted as complicit in a divide it never meant to stoke. Consumers screenshot everything, apologies travel slower than outrage. Marketing professors will dissect this launch for years, but 4 rules already glow in neon. Be early, not perfect. Feed authenticity, don't fabricate it. Let scarcity build desire, but make sure scarcity feels intentional, and treat conversation as your most valuable ad inventory. Greatness sells itself, but only if a brand clears the lane. Clark didn't ask for bots or rigid limits, she just kept draining 30-foot daggers, and the audience handled distribution. Finite supply, infinite story. Analysts predict spillover into trading cards, jerseys, even WNBA League Pass subscriptions. One venture firm has already built a Clark Index to track secondary market velocity. When hedge fund logic enters women's hoops before a rookie's first All-Star break, the paradigm has officially shifted. Gen Z, allergic to corporate scripting, rewarded the athlete whose narrative felt earned, not engineered. They lined sidewalks, crashed apps, and meme-bombed timelines, acts of ownership over a story they believe belongs to them. That energy turns casual buyers into evangelists and sneakers into social currency. Nike didn't ignite the fire, but if it learns to steward it, the brand might relive its Jordan-era glory instead of merely reminiscing. Supply chain planners are scrambling, phoning factories in Vietnam and Indonesia to lock production slots without cannibalizing other marquee drops. Rumor has it Nike will test pop-up Clark Labs, where fans customize colorways in real time, a nod to an audience that expects interactivity with everything from video games to burrito orders. Wilson's camp, meanwhile, is crafting community activations, WNBA-themed city courts, charity clinics, to reposition her line as the league's conscience, not its cash register. Investors, meanwhile, have started running their own math. On this morning's earnings call, analysts grilled Nike's CFO on how many Clark units the company could push without diluting mystique. One hedge fund note pegs an extra $300 million in women's basketball revenue within 3 years, assuming 2 seasonal Clark silhouettes, a few college throwback colorways, and full family sizing by next back to school. Rivals are recalibrating. Under Armour reportedly tapped ex-Iowa designers for a counterpunch capsule, while Adidas is dusting off its hardened budget to court the next generational phenom. And New Balance, fresh off a Coco Gauff win, has quietly trademark-searched logo range for a possible Clark-inspired training line. Stay tuned, and don't overlook the broader cultural ripple. Clark's road games now sell out arenas that sat half empty last year. Local bars in visiting cities host Clark watch parties. Bars in Iowa City still treat fever tip-offs as civic holidays. National telecasts jump 200% when her name appears on the scroll. She isn't merely ascending, she's a living economic engine. And Nike almost missed the flight. So here we are, Clark airborne, Wilson recalibrating, Nike scrambling, and sneakerheads hammering F5 in unison. Boxes of shoes care nothing for feelings, hashtags, or think piece op-eds. They care about flight. Right now, Caitlin Clark is generating lift unseen since the mid-90s. Nike can ride that thermal or watch another emblem claim the sky. End of story, until the next drop.